Hey there everyone, welcome back. This is a short video trying to explain a little bit about the use of this really important tool for web development, the web developer tools that are found in proper browsers, Firefox and Chrome especially. Coming to you live here from the laundry room. So this is a companion to the CSS layout piece, and you can watch it either before or after depending on how you're thinking. Mostly what I want to do is make it possible for you to follow along while I'm working and to just figure out the Devtools. So developer tools can be found in the browser in a variety of different ways. You can right click on an element and choose inspect element. You can go to your menu and look for the web developer tools and toggle tools, or try any of these various individual tools, and you can just use the keystrokes. I use I'm spacing out there. Okay, so we'll go to the inspector to start. We'll also use the console a lot in our work in the class, so might as well get used to that too. You can explore what you want. But for now, what we want to do is to take a look at the content of this web page from the CSS layout repository, which you have links to, and watch what happens when we change some things in the Devtools. So I'm going to inspect this element. Sorry, not that one actually. The main element. If we take a look at it, we see. So if I select main, first of all, it highlights that element up above, and it's almost the whole page, main. And it also shows me all the CSS rules that apply to that element, which is kind of an amazing thing. Let me just turn off the airplane here for a second. Okay, so by default, so then I have a bunch of rules here. These have all been commented out in the source, and so they show here, but they're not activated. That's why they're crossed out and grayed out. If I activate this one, nothing happens because block display is the default display of of all block level elements. And as I go down, the last one to be read by CSS will be the one that that counts. So I can have several of these activated at the same time. If I press display none, I think you should know what's going to happen here. Boom, it's gone. You can't see it anymore. Display none takes the whole element away. And now we get into the more interesting layout types, flex and grid. So if we start with flex, we'll see, whoa, by default, flex takes all the children of the flex container. So main and the direct children are nav, aside, article, and footer. And it lines them up in columns. So the direction of the flex box is as a row. So it creates a row. But if we switch the flex direction to column, then the flex box now organizes its children from top to bottom in a row. Take it back. We're back in columns, and now we're back in rows. All right, and now we can start to play with the alignment of the individual children. So alignment means they're the way they will be organized in the cross direction to the direction of the flexbox. So stretch is default. Flex end moves them all to the end of the box, and flex start moves them all to the beginning. So all of these apply to a flexbox. If instead we activate a grid, we'll see by default it still looks a lot like block, but we can start to define right here some more attributes for the children. So here, what I'm saying, demanding is that the columns be only 300 pixels wide. Instead, I can make some cool shaped columns with using the fraction unit. So we define a total of 5 fractions, 1 at the beginning, 1 at the end, and 3 in the middle, and we see them being aligned that way. Or we can do something kind of a little bit cooler, which is define rows of named template areas. So 3, sorry, let's keep the grid columns like that. So we keep the columns like they were, but we say the 3 columns at the top are all going to be one named area called nav. The 3 columns at the bottom are going to be another named area called foot. And in the middle area, we're going to have 1 named aside and 2 named art. And what we do then is go navigate to the children and assign the nav to the nav grid area, and that causes it to preempt everything else that's in there and grab that space. We can take the aside and put it here, and we can take the article and put it here, and the footer, put it here. And you can see how that named area is really powerful. It allows you to very straightforwardly assign elements to areas of the page. Yeah, and you can see here there's some more possibilities here for you to play around with, but that's most of what I want you to do. The main thing I want you to see is that you can use the inspector here to temporarily make changes to a page while you're viewing it. The rules box is the place where you will work the most. So for instance, I can come in here and I can, if I click somewhere, it'll allow me to make a new rule, and maybe I will change the background color to some kind of orangey color. So right, so you can just watch me do that there, and if you want, you can copy the selector or copy the rule and then bring it back into your CSS file and edit it there. There's a whole bunch of other stuff here. So the layout will allow you to visualize the existing flexbox and grid elements. So you can fool around with that a little bit. And computed, so the rules here shows you what the rules are that are being applied, and computed shows you the final values, which can be really helpful when you're trying to figure out what's overriding the thing that you tried to just set. And changes shows me what changes I have made in my fooling around here in the Devtools. And then there are a whole bunch of other things here, which we don't need to look at right now. Okay, so feel free to explore this as much as you like. The Devtools in Chrome and in Firefox are similar but not identical, so depending on which browser you're using, you may want to take a look at that. There's lots of fantastic tutorials in the documentation for the various browsers and on MDN as well, so I would definitely make use of those. Okay, great. I hope that was a little bit helpful.